Oh, I'm live. All right. Hey, everyone. Welcome to Be So Light. So, I am Felicia, also known as Priestess Makala at 333 on Instagram. You can follow me there. And here, and my webpage is also known as galacticspiralight.com. So, you can contact me there through email. And I want to finish up the seventh key. We've been talking about the seventh key. So this is part three, the final part. So I've made the outlines already, and let's finish. We already talked about this is the book. We already talked about the the virtue. Okay, we're talking about the virtue of repairing the world. And this one, we already talked about the gift, the power behind the throne. So I talked about that yesterday. In case you haven't met that part of it and haven't heard of it, please go back to the next video before this one, and it'll fill you in on that part. Okay, so let's finish diving into this seven key, shall we? So, okay, let me start here. Okay, let me see. I think this is the part because I have it all highlighted out. Okay, so we're talking about the virtue right there. Okay, virtue, repairing the world. Okay, so the seven sit in the energy blueprint hidden inside each human being. Despite many interruptions of the word virtue, true virtue has nothing to do with our concept of morals or behaviors. Anyone can behave in a pseudo virtuous fashion, yet have none of the power of this sadat. So, Sahai, I should say, Sahai. We saw throughout the seventh gift how deeply the gene key is connected to the issues of leadership. In every pack of animals, there is an alpha, one animal that the others automatically follow. Among human beings, this is the case. Leadership is determined by genetics, but quality of leadership is determined by the frequency of passing through these genetics. At the gift level, we saw how the Arthurian style of leadership gave way to more democratic style of facilitator. Hmm. Anyway, here in the seventh Siddhai, we find visionary leaders, but far more importantly, we find vicious leaders. Interesting. True leadership is, however, the world has been very few true leaders in this specific. So every truly virtuous deed done by a human being represent an upsurge in the consciousness of the totality. Okay. Everywhere, every day, people commit small and often unseen acts of virtue, and the power of these acts is incalculable. They actually offset the powers of chaos. So I like how that's being said. It offsets the problems of chaos. That is awesome. I like the upsaying of that part. So when we dive into the Kabbalists say that when Creator made the world, he created a series of vessels to hold the divine light. But as the light flowed down into the vessels, they shattered and fell towards the realm of matter. Thus, the world in which we live is made of countless shards of original vessels in which the divine light is trapped. The Kabbalists go on to say that every virtuous act committed by a human being helps to repair one of these broken shards. Yeah, we were repairing some shards, broken vessels. Okay, let's keep reading. Okay, the final results of resembling all shards is represented by the seventh side. When you see complete pictures deep within your being, the one in the realization. At this level, the consciousness of the the one in whom this sanat manifests becomes the atom Kadmon, Cadman, Adam Cadman, the perfect vehicle of the divine realization. Cadman, a divine realization. At the root of all acts performed by such beings lies the pure force of virtue, and this virtue has the remarkable effect of repairing the world. The seventh Sadhat allows the human being to see the certainty of perfect future of mankind and allows him or her to actually live within it. In this way, such people are truly ahead of their time, even though for them time has ceased, because they have remembered the future deep within their being. Interesting. These two great sadhats of flowers simultaneously in a human being, and they concern the collective destiny of mankind, with the 13 Sahab representing the seed at the beginning of time, and the 7 representing the flower at the end of time. These two Sadat have a mass of esoteric mythology connected to them. People in whom these state the flowers act as energetic guides for the entire human race. They have been called many names by many cultures. The keepers of the world, the Illuminati, the Shinings, or the chosen ones. But they have also been deeply misunderstood by many cultures. Right there. So one of the things about I noticed during this holiday season, setting up for, Halloween and everything, there is a lot of occult happening. I mean, everywhere you go in the stores, there is with the Barnes and Nobles, there was so many books on the occult. It was crazy. Now, if you understand what the word occult stands for, you should be able to understand the fact that the word occult means the unseen. It means knowledge of the unseen. It means knowledge of magic, the knowledge of working with things that are beyond your typical things of life. So, which is a part of everything that we do anyway. But only certain people are, how do I say this, are keen to it. Let's put it that way. But then they tell other people to stay away from it. Okay, so this is why anything that deals with the occult, people are always guiding other people not to do it when they themselves are doing it. Does that make sense? They've been using it. Because they know the power of it. They know the energy behind it. They know how to use it. They know the mysteries of the universe. They know the mysteries of numbers. They know the mysteries of sound. They know the mysteries of vibration and frequency. They know the mystery of all of that. So if you don't know any of this and you stay away from it because someone told you it's evil to do that, anything can be evil. Okay, churches can be evil. Crosses can be evil. Depends on what you are intending with it or how it is being used at that moment. So anything can be evil. This pen could be used for evil. But it all depends on the person's into intention of the use. The same with the star, the five pointed star, the pentacle. That's the representation of spirit, air, fire, water, earth. But a lot of people get all freaked out about it and say, oh, that's the devil. Oh, that's witchcraft. Oh, but they don't even understand how old that is. That came way before the cross. Okay. That was way before the cross came into the picture. So it's all this hidden knowledge. Occult is all about hidden things, hidden knowledge. Okay. And here's the truth of it. It is the occult that holds the truth of what we should be knowing, not the fill-in made up fake stuff. Okay. And this is actually talking about, there's certain people that represent the light, that are the chosen ones. And that means anyone that is a light worker are the chosen ones. And the chosen ones are the ones who put things that they sacrifice themselves to get this knowledge and to help others understand the knowledge if they're ready to partake of this knowledge. Then there's the ones that will take it in a dark place. So let's just say like this: it is our own personal Star Wars. Okay, if you watch any of the episodes of Star Wars, it's always about the battle of the light and the dark. It's always about the dark is trying to overpower the light, trying to bring the light into it, because the dark doesn't want to go into the light. So it's always this constant battle. And it's the same thing that's here. So let me finish out this last part. In this book, here we go. In the book of Revelations, this number 7 Sahid is represented symbolically by the opening of the seventh seal, which proceeds to return to Christ consciousness. There are even deeper secrets here concerning the mythology surrounding the number 7. However, at this deeper level, we can perhaps see why the original Chinese hexagon was called the army. The army refers to the collective group of beings. In the book of Revelations, they are known as 144,000. Now, here's the thing. We always hear about the 144,000. Okay, there needs to be 144,000 awake to do this great grand awakening, or 144,000 frequency energy that lives. Okay, so they are known as the 144,000, and you can learn more about them by reading the 44th Sahai. Essentially, this group of beings represents the genetic equipment through which higher consciousness will first touch down at the collective level on our planet, which is what we're going through right now. Okay, the term equipment is used deliberately here in order to dispel any sense of glamour concerning these so-called chosen ones. These beings are collective fractals of leaders in which the Sahad will spontaneously flower over the cycle of many generations. They will be found at all levels of society. The core essence of each of these beings and the leaders of the virtue and the language that unites them is empathy, which is number 13. Ultimately, the concerns of the future, and the future is about children, as the flowers of humanity, are one of the first place it will manifest is through the parents and the teachers. Children who grow up among virtuous people need no other kind of education or guidance. Even now, this small piece of information is the greatest key for parents. Children who grow up in an aura of true virtue will take the energy into whatever sphere of life they move through, and in doing so, they will slowly but surely transform the future of our planet. And that's the end of that one. So that is the Gene Key 7. It's pretty lengthy. And please forgive me if the author of the book comes on, and if I'm not Sahide, I'm trying to pronounce it just right. Siddhi, Sahide. So this is the next one after this one is called the Gene Key 8 Diamond of the Self. And I like how it sets up the physiology is like the thyroid, and then it has a programming partner, which is 14. And then the code and ring is the ring of water. So that concludes that number 7. That kind of just, I don't know. When you really sit back and you look at it and you kind of think about it on a lot of levels, it's a lot of energy moving through that on that number 7. How do we look at that number 7? How do we see that number 7? That's what it really is about, that number 7. How do we see it? How do we see it? How is it showing up in our world? How is it being activated? How is it speaking to us right now? And sometimes when I'm going through this book and I'm just like, on the front of it, it says the Gene Keys, embracing your higher purpose. So what is a higher purpose? Now, I think it's really interesting that I had this dream last night, and I have to look at it from a symbol point of view. And it was a really neat dream. Kind of funny, which was kind of strange. So, I always come on here and I speak my truth and say it how it is. So this dream was really interesting. So in the dream, I'm walking into some kind of cafe, but it doesn't look like an ordinary cafe. As a matter of fact, it looks like it's some kind of, I don't know, it wasn't like a really big restaurant. It just looked like a special place for light workers to be meeting. That's what it looked like. That's what it felt like. So when I walk through the golden brassy looking doors and I go in, I see myself in a mirror, and I am like decked to the hilt, rich, covered with gold and all kind of fancy furs. Now this fur kept changing colors on its own, like rainbow, kind of like, and it was moving. It was like had movement to it. It was like very dimensional. It was trippy. My shoes were golden shoes. And I was like, So, and then I had these pearls on, and I had gold on, and I had all kind of rings on my hand, kind of like now. And so I walk in, and those of you that do code, you have to go to Gematria to look at some of the things that I'm saying, and you will definitely see what the message of this dream was. Okay. And this dream is still with me. It's still with me right now, and it was one of those kind of dreams where I woke up and said, what? So now keep in mind, this is my dream. So I walk in and I wait. I'm waiting at the booth where it says "wait to be seated," and I come in. Obviously, I come here all the time because the head waitress lady, comes up and says, "Oh, Mrs. Oliver, Mrs. Oliver, so good to see you again." And I go, "Yes, thank you." She goes, "So good to see you again. I'm glad you came back to have or your usual that you like to have when you come in. So happy to have you here. And I said, well, thank you so much. And in my mind, like I see myself in a dream, but in my head, I'm saying, okay, my name is Mrs. Oliver. Is this a past life thing? And then I go, wait a minute, what timeline is this? So going back in. So my name is Mrs. Oliver. So I'm walking in and I'm like, she says, we'll have to find you a seat or so, and I'll get your special waiter to walk you over to your seated area. And she says, um, as he's walking over to take me over, he says, I'll take you to your seat. And then she comes back and said, oh, by the way, your husband is here. He's finishing up a meeting. And I said, oh. And she goes, yeah, he's right over there in the corner. And I look over in the corner, and my husband is Prince, the artist Prince. and and in my head, I'm saying, what? I'm married to Prince, but my name is Mrs. Oliver. What? Is he going by an assumed name? Is he going by something different? What timeline is this? So I'm all like, what timeline is this? And I'm like, oh my gosh, what? So he's meeting with these men. There's like four men at a table. It's kind of like amber color in the corner where he's talking, and he has his one of his black brim hats on. But at the time when I see him, he's wearing his black outfit, his black hat, and he's, they're talking. And then I said, oh, wait, before I go to my seat, let me go say hello to my husband. And they say, oh, yes, yes, Mrs. Oliver. So I walk over and I'm walking like flipping Mae West. And I'm walking over, and then he sees me and he's like this talking. He looks up and he like goes like this with his head, and he takes his hand and he's like telling the guy, stop talking. I walk over and I go, hello, husband. And he goes, well, hello, wifey. Looking lovely as always. And I go, oh, thank you. I'm going to be having lunch or breakfast over here. He goes, I'm almost done over here. I said, okay. I lean over, give him a kiss on his right cheek, and I say, I love you. And he says to me, I love you twice more. I said, of course you do. And then I walk back and I smile. He winks at me and tips his head. And I'm like, huh. So I walk back to where the waiter is taking me. He goes, right this way, Mrs. Oliver. And I said, okay. So I walk back. I'm following him. And he says, I am so sorry today, but we are so full. Everybody that's a light person, came in today to just be here. And I'm so sorry. The only place I have is here, this bar area. So it's like the bar, kind of like a bar area, but nothing really going on. Nobody's behind the bar. It's just this area. He puts down a placemat, a plate, and a glass, and some silverware. And I go, well, I don't have a stool or something like I can. He goes, no, 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 I got you covered. You didn't think I was going to have you just sit up here like this, right? And I go, well, yeah, that kind of crossed my mind. He goes, no. He kicks the side of the bar counter. All of a sudden, it drops down into this square like lower oak table. And I'm like, oh, that's better. And then he says, but I'll have to have you choose out of the three stools which one you want to sit on. So you can just kind of sit comfortably at this table. And I said, okay. So I said, I'll take that one up there. And he goes, okay. So he gets the stool down, and it's a circular stool. It's kind of short, Kind of like how I'm sitting on my yoga ball right now. That's kind of how the stool was. So when I would sit at the table, it would be just like this, how I'm talking to you right now. And so he says, "Here you go. What can I get you started off with to drink?" And I said, "Cranberry juice." "Oh, yes, your favorite, the cranberry juice." And I said, "Yes." So I'm sitting there and he's walking away, and then he comes back. He goes, "I'm going to go take care of these other clients over here, get them situated, and I'll be right back. Is that orange juice you wanted?" I go, "No." He goes, "That's right. You want cranberry juice." And I said, "Yes, cranberry juice." So he walks away. I'm sitting there and I see one of my friends and I said, "Jen, Jen." And Jen is like in this full on talking to someone. And she's got this beautiful black, like feathery outfit on, and she's laced out in like gold and silver and pearls, and her hair's done up like in the 1920s. It kind of had like that 1920s feel, and it is all wavy. She had a little mole right here and sharp red lipstick on, and she's like, "Be there in a moment, dear. Be there in a moment." I said, "Okay." So I'm just sitting there, and and the place is like really bright, and there's a lot of light in it, and it's just it's kind of like a special place where everybody that's a light person goes to, and you just kind of hang out. And there's beautiful chairs. I mean, it's very elegant. So, except for the fact that I was sitting at an oak table, a little table, and a little stool, because that was all the space that was available. So, I'm sitting there. Well, then Prince comes over and he looks at me and says, "Now, darling." I go, "Hi, hubby." He goes, "What are you doing?" "You're sitting on a little oak stool and this little wooden table. This just, you have to stop settling like this. You have to stop doing this." I said, "What? It's the only place that was available to sit. Everybody is here." He goes, "This will not do." He goes, snaps his fingers. Two men come over, bringing these big, beautiful velvet purple chairs, one for a king, one for a queen, but they weren't bulky. They were big, pretty, elegant, like chairs to sit in, trimmed in gold. He goes, "There." They pull the oak stool off of me. I go, "Ooh." So I get up and I sit down and sit in my chair. And he sits in his chair across the table, and he's like, "And this won't do." Boom, snaps his fingers again. Changes the table into a black obsidian table. Now pay attention to all the things I'm saying. Black obsidian. And inside the obsidian table was a live silver spiraling live inside the table, like of the cosmos, just spiraling, like it was alive. And I said, "Hmm, no wonder why I married you." He goes, "It's all about the magic, baby. All about the magic." And I'm like, "Okay." So I'm sitting there and I said, "Well, I'm glad that we're finally going to have some time together." He goes, "Yes, but I got to tell you something." And I go, "What?" And he leans in and he goes like this: "Did you know that all the bridges are portals?" And I go, "What?" He goes, "Yes. Did you know that all the bridges at certain times, it depends on when you go across certain bridges all around the world, they go into portals?" I said, "Well, is that because the water that's underneath these bridges?" He says, "Yes, water is the conduit, but it also creates a portal. But it all depends on the time that you go across it." And I said, well, that explains the Rockland area, how it's all weird when you drive around and get lost easy, coming out on one end, and then it's like really interesting. I said, "Yeah, portal." And then he leans in and he goes, I need you to look up my song. Let's get crazy. Let's go crazy. I said, but you sing that to me all the time. He goes, no, it's different when you're singing it than when you read the words. Let's go crazy. I go, okay, I'll look at that. I'll read it. Good. So he goes, I want you to look it up and I want you to pay attention to it. So he kind of leans back and he crosses his leg and he's got his thought going on and he's looking at me and I'm looking at him. And then a waiter walks up and he brings my drink in front of me and he goes, what would you like to have? What would you like to order? And then he says, our lunch or what we're ordering. I said, lunch? What about breakfast? And he leans over and says, remember, dear, there's no time here. No time. We're going to have lunch. I said, okay. So right before we order, Jim walks over and says, am I late? Am I too late to come and sit at the table? He goes like this. Run along, Jim. You're late. It's okay. I said, Jen, I'll talk to you later. I'm talking to my wife. Okay. So Jen leaves. She goes back over where she was. We're sitting there. He dropped the waiter gives me my cranberry drink. And I said, wow, what an interesting day today. He says, yeah, it is, isn't it? Always interesting. And I pick up my drink and I go, smile at him. I take a sip of my cranberry juice. I literally can taste it in my mouth. And then I wake up from the dream. And I'm like, holy Toledo. I married to Prince on another timeline, having lunch, for God's sakes, in purple chairs at a round circular obsidian table with live silvers, starlight swirls going on in the table. Oh my gosh. So I wake up in the morning and I'm like, what kind of dream was that? And first thing I do, I roll over and I look at the phone and I grab it and I look up Let's Go Crazy. I look at the song. Now, when I type it in, look up the song Let's Go Crazy lyrics, it comes up, but it's a song, but there's a piece missing about the doctor in Beverly Hills. It wasn't in the song. So I go back, retype it. Let me look up Prince's song of Let's Go Crazy. And then when I get that, then it has a whole section in there about the doctor in Beverly Hills who tells you it's going to be all right. Okay. So I go through the whole song and I'm reading it and I'm like, wow, wait a minute. It is different when you read the words besides just listening to the song. So I was looking at it, I'm reading it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, what the heck is. So then that leads me down the rabbit hole. So then I start taking and putting in the table. I put in Mrs. Oliver, Miss Oliver, MRS, period, Oliver. I put that into gematria and I read it and I was like shocked what it meant. Then I even put married to Prince, the singer Prince, married to the singer Prince, and I read that one. Then I typed in Black Obsidian table and saw what that meant. And I was like, holy crap. So, yeah, I don't know, but I went out later today. I was out earlier today and went to Walgreens, pick up a couple things there, and I heard go down the magazine aisle, and I go, oh okay. So I walked down the magazine aisle. I said, oh, Halloween magazines, and I hear nope, keep looking. I go, oh, Queen magazine, I don't like her. Nope, keep looking. I'm like, okay. And then I see this one section magazine, Prince. And I go, and I hear Prince, and I hear ding, ding, ding. I grab it, I open it up, and sure enough, when I open up, it comes to the very first picture of the exact same thing he was wearing in the dream. It was in this magazine. Now, I've never picked up the whole Prince magazine thing and never looked at it. I just never ever felt called to it after his death and everything. I was just like, I can't. I don't want to look at all of this. So I saw that, and then he had the black hat on, the black outfit, and I was just like, that's exactly what he was wearing in the dream. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then so I thumbed through the rest of it and I was looking at it and I was like, wow, look at that. So pay attention to your dreams because a lot of times we get these wonderful messages in a dream form, but sometimes what happens when they're in the dream form is giving you a message on something, but it's doing it through something that you recognize to give you a message. And when I was breaking down all the info, I was just like, wow, this is intense. So I just thought I just share that with the Tribe family here at Be So Life because I I'm not one that dreams about Prince, okay? But to know that my name was Miss Oliver and I was married to him, for some reason he was under that name. I don't know exactly why he was under that name, but he was under that name. And I was just like, wow, interesting. So I'm going to close out this video with something very interesting that I'm playing with, not playing along, playing with. And let me get my journal. So back in September the 10th, I did this full moon invocation of honoring of my soul, honoring of myself, things that I wanted to have activated. And I wrote it all out, and a lot of it has already been happening. And then yesterday, when I went out, remember when I told you in the other video, I said I saw a ring and I said, I got to walk away from it. Don't get it, blah, 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 leave it there. That ring kept hunting me last night. It kept popping up, showing itself. This is the ring. Went and got it today. So now I have all three, the coppers. So when you're wearing a brass or copper rings on your fingers, if you wear it on the thumb, it helps to reduce the weight in the face. If you wear it on your index finger, it reduces the weight on the arms. If you wear it on the middle finger, it reduces the stomach. If you wear it on the fourth finger, it reduces on the waist. And if you wear it on the pinky, it reduces on the thighs. So I said, okay, so they're talking about meridians, they're talking about the points. And I said, well, I'm just in love with these. So I went back in and I went ahead and just got this one. And each one has a signature design meaning to me. This one is definitely an art piece that I've already done. This one made me, as soon as I put it on, it was like the room changed and I felt like I was in Lemuria as soon as I did it. And then this one was like cosmic, this one. So I put the ring on and I'm like, and it was kind of funny when I walked in, the young lady said, oh, you went straight up to the counter. I'm already here. I have to get this ring because it was the only one like this. And I was just like, I gotta get it because I don't want it to come out where, you know how that is. You don't pay attention the first time. You could think it, you can go back the next time and it might not be there. So I went ahead and took the time and got it. And it's been a really interesting thing just wearing more of the copper. Besides in the necklaces, besides just on the wrist, but wearing it mainly on your fingers. It's doing a lot of different things. And it's kind of like helping with time adjustment. Let's put it that way. Time adjustment. So got the rings and I like it. And besides, maybe that's what triggered the dream of Prince. I don't know, but that was a really interesting place where I was. And everybody that was a healer or a light worker or what was there. And it was opened up. It was just beautiful. It was like you could see birds flying through and colors, multitude, plants. Everything was just gorgeous, beautiful sunbeam rays coming in. All the light that was coming in, it was beaming with all the different codes in it, and it was just hitting the floor, and the floor was like liquid, like water, but not water. And just knowing that when you go in and you're stepping in there, you're doing your thing, it was like, wow. So I just wanted to hop on here, close out that Gene Key 7, and then talk about that dream and the craziness with that. That was just awesome. So everyone have a wonderful day. Welcome to October 1st. Wow. I wonder what this month will bring. Wonder what's going to happen to in this month. Well, from the looks of everything, with all the occult stuff that's out, and I asked a question to Creator. I said, what is going on with all the occult stuff? I've never seen so much occult stuff all over the place. I mean, it's like an epidemic of the occult stuff. And it said, it's kind of like what they're doing is inundating everybody's senses with it so people can stop being afraid of it. But you have to use discernment because with that, there is bad apples mixed into good apples. So that means if you pick up something and it doesn't feel right to you, feels weird, don't take it home with you. Okay? Don't take it home with you. Just saying. Be aware. I still do not like any of the so-called children dolls or whatever with the black eyes. I don't like those because those things are real. I don't like those. Those are those beings that look like children and they're it's just not good. So just saying. All right, lovelies. I've explained that. I have to go have my late evening or early evening dinner. And everyone be good to themselves. Thank you for being here on Be So Light. And I will see you later, maybe tomorrow. We'll find out what the other gene key is. Everyone have a great day. And that's a wrap here. So be so light. And that's a 4, 3, 2, 1. Bye.